So we're getting started here. Let me add in our guests. Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
All right. That is a beautiful expression. We're going to be videoless with Mark, but we are. Well, what's going on here in this picture, Mark?
I'll let you decide.
So
I'll let you decide.
Hey everybody, welcome to the On the Table Gaming live stream. So today we're going to be having just like a casual hangout and a chat. And in a second, we'll go around and introduce ourselves if you don't know who we are already. But we're testing out some new tech. So we'll be streaming simultaneously to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV. So check out our channels there. But we should be able to see all of your comments here, regardless of the platform. So feel free to ask questions as we go along, and we'll try to keep an eye on the chat as we are having our conversations. So maybe just to start us off, Mike, maybe introduce yourself, and if people don't already know you, what kind of stuff are you involved with?
So hey guys, can you hear me? Hopefully You can hear me. Okay, good. So hey guys, I'm Mike Meeple. You guys probably have heard or seen some of my painting tutorials, the Painting Poorly for A Song of Ice and Fire. I've been doing that, gosh, 2 years now? Over 2 years?
Yeah, right, because you got in on the ground floor. Like you were like one of the first content creators.
Yeah, it was. I got my core set, my Kickstarter core set on like the 14th, and then by the 16th, I was having some. Had some painting tutorials up. So just started doing all of that stuff for video content, which is a whole nother beast.
I've been absolutely loving the videos you're putting out. So you kind of have like a hidden talent when it comes to film that you didn't share beforehand, and that you've got like serious videography chops. Like,
in a former life, in a previous life, I that's kind of what I wanted to do with my life. So I started off in high school doing videos with my friends, making stupid movies, making zombie movies, making spy movies. 14, 15-year-old kids making zombie and spy movies, sort of a thing. But yeah, so that some of that is coming out now and coming into how everything is, how I'm filming everything. At least I'm trying.
No, you like blew my mind. You're like, yeah, I mostly do like text blog stuff, and then you're like, but I made this video. What do you guys think? And it was like,
how am I supposed to follow this? Like, you're so much more interesting.
What? Well, so. Mark, world-renowned Mark here for developing and getting us started with the Song of Ice and Fire builder, right? Like you were there. I mean, both of you guys were there at the start of the community when, we didn't even know if things were going to last. We would always joke about support everybody in the community, but there was a guy who posted being like, I don't need Army Builder. Like, I just do everything in my head.
Yeah.
I just like make all my lists in my head. And it was like,
I think that's when I posted the Excel file. I think it was when I posted the Excel file, which was nowhere near as good as the first version of the site or second version of the site, or the new versions now that Chase has it.
And that's a lot of Brian the Builder, who's having fun of it too. I mostly do the image stuff. So
yeah, well, that's how I was with my brother. My brother did most of the hard stuff. I just updated units and tried to keep everything updated quickly.
And we see some people in the chat saying, hi guys. Hey, we'll be able to see your chats as we're going along. And it looks like we got a few people on YouTube.
Correct. This is not Pornhub.
Oh, geez. There we go. I was casually ignoring that comment, but that's
nope.
So
what you get. You invited me.
So what have you? This is a kind of a glimpse behind the scenes. So I mean, I think early on, I think we connected and we got you guys on the podcast, and I think since then we've sort of, you guys kind of been like the OG Song of Ice and Fire guys. We've had like kind of a small council area of the Discord, and I think, gosh, like I kind of feel like it might be safe to say that we probably talk like almost every day,
daily. Yeah,
it's weird doing
something like that
over voice.
We have our old man league that I keep trying to get people doing stuff.
We do have a fitness workout league in there too, the old man league.
I'm far behind on that one, guys. far behind.
I'm just over here running my 14-minute miles like a boss.
Is that your running face? I like it. It's
or I don't know. You know?
Oh, we got people in Sydney, Australia. I guess the Sydney, Australia group, it's like morning for you guys. You're waking up. I apologize in advance. This is it's a harsh thing to wake up to here.
Yeah.
But how you guys been holding up with all the COVID stuff going on, and what is your experience with the hobby been like with all the things that are going on? Get much stuff in?
It's been hard. I'll be honest. It's been tricky. The mental health aspect of it, where I really use gaming and tabletop games really as an escape, because just in general, it's a good way to blow off steam. But not being able to do that, and because I don't know where you all are in terms of your, in terms of where your states are with reopening and all of that.
But we're spiking
here in California. Yeah, we're spiking too. So, like 3 weeks ago, we were looking pretty good. So a buddy of mine, we were like, okay, let's wear masks. We'll play a game, and we'll only touch our own minis, sort of a thing. But now that we're really going crazy, it's like, I don't know that we want to do that anymore.
Yeah. Is it worth it? Is it worth risking it? Yeah. Exactly. We have the same conversations. Like, we have a very small group that they don't play A Song, Ice and Fire or war games for that matter, but that plays board games and we play D&D every Sunday, and I still see them every week. We wear masks. If anyone's not feeling at all well, they stay home and we just cancel. But it's all people I know where they've been and what they're doing, and everyone's kind of the same level of being careful. And then TTS, but other than that, but I'm the same way. I use it as an escape. When my wife sees that I'm having a bad day, she's like, "You want to go play a game or something?" You want to go
exactly.
Yeah, she knows that it's my escape. So.
And we see we have some comments coming in here about the blog, Mike.
Hey, Jeremy. Hey, keep it up. I love that. I love it.
Yeah, I think the same way. I think for me, the biggest thing has been, I realize I use it as an escape, but I realize also like community, like just hanging out with people, having fun, talking. We're going to have some people on in the future talk about Star Wars Legion. I've got like a Legion crew. And like, honestly, like half the time we go up there, we're just like, so, it's like the same conversation every time. Sort of, it's like, what's the best StarArs movie? Like, it's like, well, I think it's this. And it's just like kind of fun hanging out and have just casual conversation. And, that all being gone now, I'm getting a little bit more painting progress done. I'm following some expert tutorials here, getting my Targ starter set finished up. But, that's kind of, I realize, only part of the hobby. I really also enjoy the social aspect.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's actually what being on Discord and all that stuff helps with a lot, is being able to talk to those people still. You don't get to go out and play. But like we did, Legion TTS the other night. That was that was good.
I'm generally
not a good team.
Yeah, well, we teamed up against a local guy here. I'm generally not necessarily like a fan of Tabletop Simulator. Like, I don't know, it's not my. It doesn't have. It's like kind of takes away all the parts that I enjoy the most, like the person-to-person interaction.
Oh, for sure.
Playing with you was actually really fun because I actually was playing with everybody I knew. It was like totally different than kind of matching up with like a random person, and that wasn't so bad. So maybe that's something we'll do again in the future. Yeah. Are you guys looking forward to Gen Con? A Song of Ice and Fire or not? Any things that you're keeping an eye out for? Or,
Oh yeah. Marvel Crisis Protocol. Hoping for some X-Men, even though I have none of them yet. But I'm getting ready to make some big trades with some people in Discord to get some Crisis Protocol.
Mark has been doing sort of the wheeling and dealing, reaching out to people. He's been ready to trade off things, and you're just gonna get like a giant set of Marvel stuff like in one big go. It looks like
that's what I want, because that's like Christmas, man. I'll be so happy about that. But X-Men, that'll be awesome if that looks like the tease. Let's hope so.
Yeah, that tease they posted the X-Men circle, the circle with the X through it. I was like, what else could that be? What else could that be?
Yeah. But I'm excited to get that going. I saw your Thanos tutorial, and I want to paint him up now. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Sweet, man.
Well, yeah, I know the tutorial isn't out yet, but I saw your picture.
Can we do this? Let's go see. I sort of a stress test here.
Stress test.
Oh, here we go. While I'm trying to make sure we can get this tech to work here. I think I see Rusty in there. Anyone want to take a stab at that? Speaking of painting, how do you all stay motivated for it? With all the free time we have had recently, did it overwhelm you, make it feel like work?
So if I had a channel, it would be painting really, really badly. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. So I found that it really helps now that I have a dedicated station set up and I don't have to like take everything out at once. I can like pick up one pot, I can start painting, and I can clean up when I'm done, and I can spend 30 minutes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. That helps. I mean, for me, I'll be honest, Rusty, it's kind of similar to the way it's always been. A lot of people, I think, Chase, you and Josh might be the only people who know this because of that very first conversation that we ever had. I kind of talked about this, but I do all of like my painting and my tutorials from the hours of 10 o'clock at night to like 1 a.m. because I've got a 4-year-old son. I've got a wife. I've got another son on the way, you know? So it's like, I have my father and husband duties that I have to take care of. And my 4-year-old, I love him to death, but he does not go to sleep until like 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, you know? And so for me, it hasn't been that much of a difference. I'm considered an essential worker because I work in a hospital. So there hasn't really been much extra time for me. But in terms of the motivation, yes, Rusty, sometimes it does feel like work. And because it is, you're sitting there and sometimes you're working on, I'm gonna pick on Chase a little bit. You're working on Free Folk, and you're like, how much gray and dry brushing can I do?
Oof, you got me there, yeah. And it's like,
so that's why you see on my blog, I'm usually mixing up different games. I'll do a string of Song of Ice and Fire, and then I'll do MCP, and then I'll do Batman, and then actually I guess I'll go ahead and show off. I might be doing something like this soon. That is Project Elite by Simon Games.
Come on, yes, let's talk about that in a little bit.
I'm about to hear about that one. Yeah, I'm excited to see it.
While we're here, let me pull up your blog here too.
Okay.
While you're going through there, and I see Rusty talking about how he feels the pain of the free folk. Absolutely, yeah, you get it. But let's take a look here. So, I really love your Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff. I think you really capture the style of the game, like just 100%. I was going to look at your Spider-Man, your Peter Parker. Is there a particular one that you'd want to showcase here if we're poking through?
I think MODOK turned out particularly well. I just because when you get such a big oh, hey son.
Hey, look at that.
Hi.
Hey buddy.
There we go.
Yeah, when you get such a big canvas, such as like his face, you can really do all the detail, without having to like micromanage everything. You can give all those layers and all those levels and really have fun bringing out the highlights and the different textures and the tones.
Yeah, I have to say, I don't know if this is like blasphemy or anything, but like this is the one miniature from that game that like I wasn't like 100% thrilled on. And it's just not, maybe it's not even the miniature. The miniature is great, actually. It's like the one character when they're like, you won't believe who's in the game. And I was like, really? Like, I don't know. I'm like,
dude, no, like
he's good though. I hear.
I was with you. Like when I got my core set, I was like, I'm gonna get Hulk. Screw MODOK. But they had him at my friendly local game store, and all I could think was, might as well get him. I got some extra credit, so I got him. And let me tell you, he is like, when you're playing the game, he is like meta defining. Like, hey, buddy. Oh, there we go. But he's like everything that he does, he's just so good at. He's such a beefy guy, and you'd think that he'd be super glass jawed, and he's not. He's just a strong, tough beast. So
And now, is your son old enough that he can play Marvel Crisis Protocol yet, or we're still
Not
getting
yet?
close?
Although he is handing me miniatures that he's proud of.
There we go. All right, let me go back to the big screen.
I mean, I like that one. It's a good one.
Yeah.
You know, I find interesting ways to get him interested in the hobby. Oh yes, we painted this Batman together.
Oh, sweet.
This one
looking good
right there. So, so you know, you gotta do the dad thing.
How about you, Mark? So, you know, I know you've been really into Marvel Crisis Protocol. Any other games besides Marvel Crisis Protocol that you've been playing?
Well, I've been playing Legion. I got into Armada as well, and bought out a lot from your neck of the woods from Wes.
Yeah,
all that stuff,
dude. From Sargis Comics in New London, Wes. You know, he's the kind of the organizer of our Star Wars community there. Awesome guy. Hoping to have him on in the future. Yeah,
and then for Gen Con stuff, like I said, I'm excited about the Marvel Crisis Protocol announcement. I'm really excited for the next game from Chip Theory Games, which they're announcing, which does like Too Many Bones and Cloud Spire. So I'm really excited to see that stuff. But yeah, I don't have any cool miniatures to show. I just got my weird face on the background there. So.
Next time. Yeah. Any tips for non-metallic metals, Mike?
My tip would be to not do it just yet. So non-metallic metals look really cool, but I'll be honest, I'm not even very skilled with that. So I would be hesitant to actually give any tips because, like I've said a lot, I don't think I'm a very good painter. I think I'm okay, right? And I'm more of a, if I can do this, right? If I can do this, then anybody should be able to do this, right? So because like I said, there are two types of things that I like that I look at. There's talent, right, which is naturally God-given like talent, right? And then there's skill, which is things that you learn, abilities that you can pick up. And I don't feel I'm very talented. I feel like I've learned a few skills, right? And I'm trying to convey those skills. And non-metallic metals is not a skill that I have.
Yet, right? But yeah, we're always growing.
Get there.
But I think that's great too. And I feel like I've been really drawn, especially recently, like to games that also have that sort of philosophy of like, you know, you can grow into them. I found like A Song of Ice and Fire incredibly accessible. Star Wars Legion, I think, is actually also a really accessible game. Maybe not the clone box as much as the original starter box.
It's not so bad.
The droids, I think, have like emotionally scarred some people I know.
I put together 3 boxes or 3 full core sets worth of those.
You are
if
amazing.
I could do that, yeah.
And now he can't even put his face on camera. He's
I don't know the webcam. I don't make neat videos like you all.
Just all of the little the droid arms and the heads. It was just
I got big hands, man, and that's the problem. Like trying to,
For me, it was to get to the ping, and then you're like on the floor with like a flashlight, being like, "It's somewhere in here." I know. And it's like, oh, it's the back, like the skull cap.
I lost multiple heads
because
and
those need to be multiple parts. Oh.
Yeah, luckily I was like missing other pieces.
You're rubbing your carpet, trying to feel that
there are pieces in my carpet still. I guarantee it.
Rusty in here asking, did you guys start painting with Song or before?
I started a little bit before. The first thing that I ever painted, it was on my. It was from the Conan box, the by Monolith Edition, the big Conan Kickstarter. I got that. That was like
nice.
the first. It was the first Kickstarter that I ever kickstarted. Because my wife loves Conan, my father-in-law loves Conan. So I got that, and I was like, you know what? Why not? Let me just see what I can do. And it turned out okay. So I was doing that for about a year and a half before I really started getting into Song. And I was blogging, like I told this story before, where I was kind of like looking for a different thing to do on my blog. And I started just kind of talking about what I do, and the Song community kind of said, "Hey, there's this new game coming out."
Yeah. How about you, Mark? Were you painting before?
I was a little, because I would paint some of the D&D miniatures that I'd do with friends, but I bought some actual decent paints and brushes and stuff when Song came out, and then last Christmas my wife got me a booth for airbrushing, so I wouldn't spread it all around the house. But yeah, I'm not super deep into it yet. I've only done, I don't know, a handful of units, and then I've started doing a lot of Legion stuff lately, but I've been enjoying it. So
for me, I had played war games and painted them when I was younger. I think I've talked about probably many times you've listened to the podcast, but we sort of jumped ship after second edition of Warhammer. When they switched to third edition, we were like, no, even though it was probably better, but it was different. So we were like, nope. So we stopped a while ago, and then went through college, and then actually, Mike and I, recently found out that we both share like some martial arts experiences. And then after all that, I was kind of looking to like, what's some fun, relaxing things to get into? And I was like, I want to get back into gaming. And actually it was Terry LaTorca. I don't know if you guys know her.
Yep.
She was supposed to be on our podcast, and we recorded it. We did this whole thing with her, and then we didn't, the recording didn't work out. And so I was like, oh, but her Zombicide tutorials and stuff, it was like quick, easy Zombicide. So I painted up some Zombicide Black Plague stuff, and I was like, this was actually really fun. I bought some painting stuff, and then A Song of Ice and Fire was coming back out, and Mike Meeple's blog was like super accessible, and I was like, you know what, I can do this. Like, I can get back into this, and now we're back sucked into the hobby, and I've got like all this stuff.
Yeah,
I know.
But now I have all these board games that I have like a ton of miniatures that I need to get to painting, because I didn't think about it before. And when I started getting into wargaming and started painting, I've got so many from Cool Mini or Not that I need to go through and paint, to be honest, like Arcadia Quest and Rising Sun and a bunch of other ones.
But that can be a kind of fun. That's like almost sometimes more fun when you're just like, you've got like spatterings of different things to try out.
Yeah.
It really is like when it's like, 6 units of Free Folk Raiders that you're like, oh god.
That's why I'm excited to finally get some Marvel Crisis Protocol, because it's one mini, it's kind of a little bigger, and there's a different one each time. It's not the same every time, and I can have a little more fun with it. So
right.
Yeah. What would be your if you had if you could only work on one board game that you have in your collection right now to paint, what would it be?
So that's tough. You know what?
Right now, I just picture you like laying out in like a pile of board games.
I have to go downstairs for that one. But if I didn't have Legion, it would be Imperial Assault, because I own it all. I love Imperial Assault. It's a ton of fun. But I'm gonna paint Legion instead, because I'll just use those minis to step in for Imperial Assault. But I think some of the coolest minis I have are from Rising Sun. Some of the monsters and things like that, they're awesome. Yeah. So there's some really cool dragons. There's some other really neat ones. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
How about you guys?
Man,
you don't have a lot of board games, do you?
I know. I don't have as many board games. I have some. There's some games that I just don't play anymore that I just like the minis for. War Machine and Hordes was it's like too much of a thinking game. It was one of those games where it's like I wasn't really like playing it like regularly and like on top of everything, that I would like show up to play a game with someone, and I just like I'm too far behind. Like I don't know the metas and the way everything's interacting perfectly. But the Circle of Boris, like these druids and like werewolf stuff, just were so cool. And I was talking to someone about maybe like getting rid of some stuff, and it was just one of those things where I was like, but I don't want to, but I'm like never gonna play it again. But I was like, but it's like a giant werewolf with a sword, and like, come on. Yeah. But I didn't, in talking to Duncan Rhodes, we basically realized that I have a bunch of different things that are all like druidy, like wilderness people, and then it's like, oh, like free folk stuff, and I'm like, I'm just playing the same thing over and over again. I was like,
just in different systems.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
Well, I have to tag on to Mark a little bit. I have a fully painted Imperial Assault set, core box, that I did myself. But I'm looking at my my shelf of shame right now.
I gotta pull up a picture of mine so I can find some other ones.
And I think the big one that if I could just dedicate some time to just painting the snot out of right now, it would be Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh man.
Just because I'm such a huge fan of that movie, Like like
Kurt Russell.
I mean, I don't know. My family's Chinese, man. So like when that came out in the 80s, like it was like we like took a national holiday to go see that movie.
I'm like, I'm scared to go back and watch some movies though. Sometimes they're just not. They don't age well, or they're just like not as good as you think at all. I made my wife. No,
you don't want to ruin that.
I burned
memory.
The points on The Last Starfighter, and in my mind, I was like, this is the greatest movie of all time. And it's like the pacing's weird, like it's just not, and it's just like, oh no. And she was like, really? Huh, okay, so that's your scale, like greatest movie? And I remembered it when I was 8, like it was way better.
Yeah, that was the first Tron movie for me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like, yeah.
Ripping on the first Tron movie.
Amazing.
It was still good. Get out of here.
The users. Oh man, yeah. So that's always interesting to burn that bridge. In a quick pause here, we've got coming up for Gen Con. I know we're gonna have a Song of Ice and Fire panel on Friday. After the panel on Friday, like immediately after, we're gonna be doing another community chat, kind of like an after party. I know, Mike, you're gonna be there. And I'm gonna be hosting it with Simon Swan, the community leader of the Facebook group for Song of Ice and Fire. And we're gonna have, Guerrilla Miniatures games, Big Top Gaming, Family Time games, Mike Meeple, obviously, Mythico Studios, Small Council Radio, and a mystery guest, or at this point, it might be mystery guests. Who knows? Who could be? So if you guys have in the Song of Ice and Fire, the miniatures game Facebook group, maybe you saw the picture, the purple. It was not the greatest movie. Oh, there's my wife chiming in. I guess she's watching. Hey, great. Appreciate that. I'm sure there's like a long list. I had a few moments like that when we were at like a tag sale somewhere, and I was like, oh my God, they're selling. Oh, it was Iron Eagle. Do you guys remember that one? It was like about a guy whose dad gets like shot down in like Iraq or something, or like Iran, and then the kid like steals a fighter pilot and like goes and saves his dad, and it was $1. I was so excited.
That's like me and Air America. Like for whatever reason, I think Air America is a great movie. Robert Downey Jr. and Mel Gibson in the Korean War, but I don't know if that holds up at all.
Yeah. So fair enough. Some things are best forgotten, right? Season 8, Game of Thrones. We got to look forward to the books. We have time to
the
books.
Go there. Yeah, like that'll happen.
But so one of the games, speaking this time, I've got some games behind me. Mortal Gods over there is a historical game I was checking out, and I've only played a few games of it, but it's really fun. It's kind of like in that song space, the Song of Ice and Fire space, where it's like an easy entry into a new system. Like historical gaming is very overwhelming. This one's like somewhat similar mechanics to Song of Ice and Fire. It's pretty easy to jump into, but I've definitely hit that wall where I got the starter set, which is enough for like a large force or 2 medium-sized forces. And at the same time, I picked up like the Athenian army box set, and I painted the core box, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is way too many small little like Greek hoplite soldiers. Like I was like, I need to like take a break or something. Still great game, nothing on the miniatures, but it was just like, get a little too much up for your buck in there, and you get in over your head. But I know another game, Mike, that you've been talking about that I really don't know anything about is Project Elite. And so what's kind of the situation with that game? What is appealing about it for you? Maybe if you could speak to that.
So I'll be honest. I'm really into the yep, that's the one. I'm really into like the Zombicide, the group of guys that hold out against hordes of baddies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like those games really speak to me because it feels like a video game, right? For lack of a better term, it feels like you're playing a cool video game. And I have to say, no other game that I've ever played has had this level of that feeling where it actually feels like you're playing a video game, that manic crazy, because this game is a real-time game. So essentially you at the start of your turn, you spawn all these monsters, right? And then you've got your I think it's 5 or 6 action dice in your hand, and you're rolling these dice, okay? And you start a timer, and at the start of 2 minutes, you have 2 minutes to roll these dice, and the dice determine what kind of actions you get to do. There's like little symbols that you match up with weapons on your card, so it's like you're loading your gun, right? And then once you get the right symbols, then you can roll for an attack. Okay, but that's all happening in the 2 minutes, right? So you could roll these symbols and put these dice in, and then but not get that last symbol, and so you've just used up half your dice trying to load this big weapon, but you never get that last symbol. But the whole time as you're rolling these dice, one of the dice faces has an alien symbol, and that alien symbol triggers the aliens to move forward closer to you along a path. So every time you re-roll the dice, you're increasing your chance of getting more of having the aliens move closer to you, because once the 2 minutes are up and you've done as many actions as you can, you moving anything that you need to do with your character, completing the objective, all of that has to happen in those 2 minutes, and is all based off of the kinds of symbols that you roll. Then after that, then the bad guys get to actually go.
So they get their own
on top of them moving. Yes, so they still get their own turn on top of that. So, and the way it's an all for one game. If one person dies, everyone loses. And if one alien gets to the starting point of the players, everyone loses.
Man, I've never played a real-time game like that where it wasn't like I take a turn, you take a turn. Where it was like
frantic.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really cool, and because I've played a few real-time games. This one and XCOM, which I wasn't a big fan of, but there's a game by Queen's Games called, I think it's called Escape. It's like an Indiana Jones style game where it's a similar thing. You've got 10 minutes to just get through a dungeon crawl without bad guys. You're just trying to find the entrance and find the items and move your little meeples around. It's very cool. And that kind of showed me how much fun these real-time games could be, because at a certain point you start bickering with your friends and you're like, I've got no dice left. You need to come back here and help me. I'm stuck. We're going to lose. And they're like, oh gosh, I'm all the way on the other side of the map. So they're rolling, trying to get everything, get what they need to come back to you. And and this is the same thing, except it also gives you that like, holy crap, there are hordes of monsters coming after you too. It's a little chaotic. Rusty, yes and no.
Yes and no. 6 players.
But that's the point of it, though, is it's going to be chaotic. Like, even with, you want a lot of people. Exactly. That's kind of the fun of it. You're yelling across the table and everyone's getting loud and having fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. And, during this crazy COVID time, I'm not going to be in a situation where I can get together with like 4 or 5 other guys, right, and play this. But I've done some test runs because they have a solo mode and figuring out all of that. Which, by the way, solo mode is like impossible because because you still only have 2 minutes, but you're doing twice as much stuff. So. But yeah, so I'm hoping that I might be able to get a test game in with my father-in-law. He likes to game, and my brother-in-law likes to game, and we see each other still on a fairly regular basis. So
yeah, we used to play with my group a game called Space Cadets that was real time, and you all had a different role on the spaceship. Someone would be the helmsman, someone would be the weapons person, someone would do shields or whatever. It was crazy because you'd be yelling across the table, okay, we need to go this way, we need to do this, or we need to shoot this. But those real time games are a lot of fun.
Is that kind of like, I always saw, was it Captain Sonar? It's like a submarine game.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to play it, but I was like, I don't know if I'd be able to get a group enough.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. But that's the same way. It's frantic. There's 4 or 5 of you, and there's another 4 or 5 across the table that are trying to blow you up. So
that's cool.
And then, mostly right now it's been A Song of Ice and Fire, obviously, and Legion. And I'm kind of excited for what's going to maybe be revealed at Gen Con. We're not really sure. to be honest, when COVID hit, like that was, game I love playing, but like I haven't been following like all the news and developments. And so I'm not quite up to date on what that speculation might be. But, hopefully, I mean, last year, the Clone Wars box set, that was huge. Like,
so
people lost their mind.
I'll go off here, and Armada is what I'm excited about because they're going to talk about Clone Wars at Gen Con, and that'll be cool.
Ooh. I mean, that Armada was a game that X-Wing and Armada were like huge at our store. When Legion came out, it sort of just like sucked in all the Armada players.
Hey, your loss is my gain.
I guess it sounds like, from my take on it, it sounded like that Armada was kind of in had some weird ups and downs over the years, though.
Yeah, but it's been pretty consistent from what I understand, and
okay.
I feel like Clone Wars will probably spark it for a little bit.
I mean, you look at especially some of the newer models coming out for Legion. Like, their miniatures were never bad, but slowly the sculpts have just gotten better and better. And it's like, we got guys with jetpacks now, and like they look awesome. Like Clan Ren, this is crazy.
As soon as I brought home Padme, my wife pointed out exactly how she wanted it built because she was going to paint it.
Yes.
She saw the box and she's like, this is what I want. I want the cape. I want the gun sticking up. I don't want the blaster. I'm like, okay.
Have you seen the pictures with her with Cad Bane's hat on?
Yeah. Western Padme.
Yeah. That's amazing. Which is the joke people are bringing up in the Discord is like, does that mean there are people out there building Cad Bane like without his hat? And like, who are these monsters?
Monsters, yeah.
Man. Well, I mean, it sounds like, there's so much stuff coming up on the horizon. I'm really excited to see what Gen Con brings. It sounds like in a week, we're going to be just like swarmed with content.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see everything for Armada and Legion and Song and just see what all comes out. Maybe even though there's not a lot of play around my area somehow for Song, watch, I'll get pulled back in from some big announcement. So.
Hey, man, just hang on to those Baratheons. I know you were getting rid of your jettisoning some of your other stuff. You got to summon.
Because it's not a great game. It really isn't.
It's tough when you don't have people to play with too, right?
Yeah,
it's
not
really
as many.
Yeah,
and there's a bigger Legion community.
Yeah, we're like the exact opposite here in where I'm in California, at least in Fresno. We've got a really strong Song community. We've got like no Legion presence. We have zero Armada presence and zero MCP presence. But I'm just here doing my thing.
Marvel Crisis Protocol. I keep talking to people, and it sounds like a lot of people just play that at home. I mean, obviously now, but like. It's I keep being like, oh, like I have a buddy who says like he doesn't really have a local scene for it, but he loves it, and they're like, yeah, that's how it is for us too. Like I play at home, and it's like just hundreds of people just playing this game, but like not in public, I guess. Like they're in this like the alleyways between buildings. You're like, oh, Thanos, go!
Portable 3x3 tables rolling around.
Yeah, people are buying this stuff. So what's going on? But you know what? We'll start to wrap things up. So this is a good stress test of the system here. Seemed like it Legion community is pretty big where we are. Yeah, I mean, so I'm in Connecticut, and Legion is a game. So I don't really talk about this too much, but A Song of Ice and Fire I love to play. Legion is like my stress-free, I can just go there and no pressure game. And so I do also play that competitively. And so I know for us, I've driven up to like New Hampshire. Yeah, it's basically like a 5-hour radius. I can drive out and play like for Rally Point qualifiers or whatever your more competitive games are now. But I know for us, Southern Connecticut's got a pretty good scene, but then Massachusetts right above us, there's like a beltway of I think it's the same way for Song of Ice and Fire actually, but not too far away, there's just a ton of great places playing. But next time we have a big event or something, maybe we can get some people to come on down. The problem is like I love Sarge's Comics in New London, and it's a great place for playing Legion, but their parking situation being in New London is not ideal. So I always feel bad being like, oh, I'll get a bunch of people to come down, but it's like good luck finding a place like on the street to park. But we'll talk more about them in the future. That's a great store, and they've got some great Legion stuff they're doing.
Everyone head on to St. Louis. We've got the miniature market store right there.
Hey, when you're hosting on TableCon, right?
Yeah,
on Table Gaming Con, it's going to be in your basement, and we'll all just show up. It'll be like the four of us, or the people from the Discord. Hey,
Yeah, let's do it.
Tents out. Do you have room to like put tents out in your yard?
Yeah, the backyard. The dog will
It's
probably
amazing. Everybody here in the chat is invited, and St. Louis and
yeah, just head to St. Louis.
How far are you from Gen Con? We'll just do next year. Everyone go to Gen Con, and then afterwards we just go to Mark's house and just
I like it.
Crash out there.
About 5-hour drive. You know, just a quick,
that's within the radius, man. That's the radius. But so we'll start to wrap things up here. Guys, thanks so much for coming on. It's always awesome to talk to you and hang out. It's actually really fun doing this like face-to-face live. I know typing in the Discord is good too.
Face-to-face to picture.
Well, yeah, but I know we can just shoot each other messages, but it's kind of fun to get on here and hang out. And I got to test some of the features as far as showing the screen and stuff. I think this has a lot of potential. It's cool being able to draw on Facebook and YouTube. St. Louis is only a day's drive from San Antonio. This is Rusty just sent you that message from the road. He just ran out to his car and got in and started driving.
See you soon.
So be there. And do you want me to add you in there, Mark, or no? Oh boy. I'm adding you in. There we go. All this time and you oh man. Oh, we got Brian Kerr here too. All right. So Big Top Gaming. And we'll be talking with him on Friday.
Yeah, but don't be talking about emos. Get out of here.
Oh boy. So we'll wrap things up, guys. Thanks so much for checking in. Just one more time, a big plug. On Friday, we're going to be having our after Gen Con, a Song of Ice and Fire panel, and so we're going to have Brian from Big Top Gaming there. We got Mythico Studio, Family Time Games, Guerrilla Miniatures Games, Mike Meeple, of course, Small Council. It's going to be awesome. So make sure you tune in. This is our good test of the system. And I guess, we got to wrap this up the way we wrap up everything. In the meantime, I hope you get your miniatures on the table. All right, guys, take care.
See you later.